Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. So we got a lot of news to go over today with regards to this shuffling, what's happening at the SEC. Gary Gensler is now part of the picture, a former Obama chairman of the CFTC. So lots is going on right now. We know Ripple is in a legal battle, and how is this going to affect this? Well, I thought this was interesting. The SEC enforcement behind the Ripple lawsuit is actually stepping down, yes. So along with Jay Clayton stepping down, Markberger is also stepping down. Mark P. Berger, who was named Deputy Director of the Division of Enforcement at the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission in August 2020, is leaving the agency before the end of the month, according to an SEC press release. He was appointed Acting Director of the division after Stephanie Avakian departed from the SEC in December. Though Berger's time in the top position was short, it bears at least one major highlight: the SEC's $1.3 billion lawsuit against Ripple Labs CEO Brad Garlinghouse and Executive Chairman Chris Larsen. So yes, this is the guy who brought on the lawsuit. He was holding the position for a little while and then stepped down. The lawsuit, which was unveiled at the end of Avakian's tenure, alleges Ripple did not register the sale of XRP, the third largest cryptocurrency by market cap. The SEC views XRP as a security, as we all know, a tradable investment contract that raises funds for a business organization. And then it talks a little bit about the lawsuit here. Berger can also take partial credit for the SEC's enforcement against the Telegram lawsuit, which compelled the messaging software company to return $1.2 billion to those who invested in its cryptocurrency offering. Graham's digital token never got off the ground. So Berger, the guy who is one of the guys, I suppose, credited with bringing about the lawsuit against Ripple, is now leaving after, what was it, about a month? Less than a month in office. Things are in flux at the SEC as the federal government transitions from a Trump presidency to a Biden administration on January 20th. President-elect Joe Biden is expected to name former Commodities and Futures Trading Commissioners Chair Gary Gensler to fill the role of SEC Chair. Jay Clayton stepped down in December. So this article was released before we got the official announcement, rather. I'm going to get to that in a second. We've also got this is interesting. Brian Brooks tweeting this out. Decentralized finance, or DeFi, is coming. The banking system and the rest of us need to get ready. Retweeting out BRYANKHUBBARD's comment here. Get ready for self-driving banks by the OCC's Brian Brooks, DeFi and cryptocurrency. It is coming. So Brian Brooks tweeting this out. All the while, Victoria Gita is tweeting this out. News: acting comptroller of the currency Brian Brooks is expected to leave the agency by the end of the week, according to people familiar with the matter. Now, we know that Brian Brooks' position was temporary. Brian Hubbard down here saying, as per the story, for all those who were asking, OCC spokesperson Brian Hubbard, which is him, would not confirm that Brooks is leaving. And so, people asking about this. Not your news to tell. I can respect that. It would be a real shame, of course, is coming from Crypto Steve. The work you're doing at the OCC is the light in the darkness of cryptocurrency regulations in the United States. Some people speculating, including Nutjob Investor, that Brooks could be making his way over to the SEC. Not only him, James RULEXRP thinking this as well. I'm not clear on the truth behind this, but could Brian Brooks be headed to the SEC? It is possible. Acting comptroller of the currency meant just that. He was in his post until they found someone they deemed fit for a permanent position. The Saints Nation down here says there is frankly too much important work to be done to lose an intellectual and a leader like Brian Brooks in a pivotal time for the United States in its transition to the digital age. A few other people down here suggesting that, yes, it would be great to have Brian Brooks at the SEC. Of course, we do not know. This is clearly wild speculation at this moment in time. We do not know where he is going. However, these guys don't tend to stay unemployed for long. He probably will make a big move somewhere. He does have the background in cryptocurrency. He was lead counsel, or he was part of Coinbase's legal team. And so Brian Brooks, a very important asset to have with regards to the legality, with regards to cryptocurrency and the United States framework, how that's going to be shaped. I don't doubt that he will likely get another position that is going to be important to, roll out cryptocurrency regulatory clarity in the United States. So thought that was interesting. We've also got the James Rule tweet here. And this from Martin. So ECB's Christine Lagarde says speculative Bitcoin needs regulation. On the surface, this might sound kind of negative, but let me read this for you and let me tell you what I think. ECB's Christine Lagarde says speculative Bitcoin needs regulation. So European Central Bank, the ECB President Christine Lagarde said Bitcoin has facilitated funny business and needs to be regulated. She said this at the Routers online event on Wednesday. Lagarde also described Bitcoin Bitcoin as a speculative asset, speculative asset that has led to some reprehensible activity, according to a report from FX Street. The EU central bank chief said there will be a digital euro, hopefully, in no more than 5 years. The ECB has been looking into the benefits and risks of a euro-based digital currency since the Facebook-backed Deem, formerly called LibraCoin project, was announced. So Christine Lagarde, obviously, just making this statement, letting investors know Bitcoin does need to be regulated, and, I feel like we're getting there. In the United States, there are traded funds now that are registered, proper traded funds for traditional investors that can indeed invest in these funds and get exposure to Bitcoin. So that's in the United States and in other countries around the world. Of course, Bitcoin in its purest form is going to be just that. A bit of a Tasmanian devil, I suppose. But that's not to say that Christine Lagarde doesn't believe in cryptocurrency, or rather DLT blockchain technology, and utilizing cryptocurrencies in order to improve the financial system. We know, and I wanted to bring this up for those of you guys who haven't seen this photo. Here's Christine Lagarde in the middle of this photo. This is a high-level advisory group of the IMF's Interdepartmental Working Group on Finance and Technology, taken at the Singapore FinTech Festival. And you guys can see over here to the right, Brad Garlinghouse from Ripple is part of this photograph. We've got a lot of heavy hitters here in this picture. I believe this was taken in 2019. So, despite her views on Bitcoin and, the fact that it does sound a little heavy-handed, it needs to be regulated, it's speculative right now, Christine Lagarde definitely on side with improving the financial system with regards to cross-border payments, exactly the kind of thing that Ripple does. Now, we've also got Gary Gensler, and so this has been the talking point of yesterday and part of today. Former CFTC chairman Gary Gensler will be named head of the SEC. This coming from XRP CryptoWolf. The nomination will happen in the coming days. The real question is, how will this affect the lawsuit against Brad Garlinghouse, Chris Larsen, and Ripple? And I think we are all wondering how this is going to affect the lawsuit. So let me get into this. Gary Gensler, the former Obama-era chairman of the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, is reportedly set to be named as chairman of the SEC for the incoming Biden administration. Citing sources with knowledge of the process, Reuters said that the nomination will happen in the coming days. Gensler was added to Biden's transition team in November, shortly after the U.S. presidential election, as previously reported. As the Block's Mike Orcott wrote in November, Gensler is no crypto enthusiast, okay? So let that sink in for a second. But he has highlighted the technology as one that exposes some of the underlying payment problems in the US today. So, even though he is no crypto enthusiast overall, I suppose, and by that I'm assuming they mean, speculative cryptocurrencies running up. This is Bitcoin on the 4-hour, by the way. I didn't talk about price today. Nevertheless, you can see it is retracing. Bitcoin has rallied hugely over the last several months now, bringing the rest of the crypto market up with it. I'm just going to bring up the total 2 market cap here. We can see as well. Just going to clear that out. Zoom out here on the 4-hour, and you guys can see even altcoins have really taken off since March 2020, basically. Once we had a global pandemic and economies were shut down, the price tanked for everything, and then an altcoin rally following on the heels of Bitcoin. So we are seeing this speculative move, and it sounds like Gensler isn't a fan of this. Nevertheless, it sounds like he is a fan of the types of technology within cryptocurrency that exposes some of the underlying payment problems in the US. And guys, do I have to spell it out for you? What is that? Of course, Ripple and XRP's technology, they are not the only ones. However, they are the biggest one. They are the ones focusing on cross-border transactions. And it sounds as though Gensler could be favorable to Ripple and XRP. Now, we've got some more videos supporting this. This from XR Patients. This is Gary Gensler. Biden's nomination for chair did say there's a strong case for XRP as a security, but he repeatedly refers to crypto as currency in this video and admits technically not a currency. I simply do not see a former MIT prof keeping crypto in the dark ages of Howie. This is XR Patients' perspective on this. I'm going to play you this video, guys. If you haven't seen this, let me play you this.
Crypto to fiat. This is called a bridge crypto or bridge currency. I can sort of say I can go from US dollars to Bitcoin or XRP. You fill in the middle and then move over to the other fiat, Mexican peso in my example. And might that take some cost out of the system? We have Sean's issue earlier of volatility. If the crypto is fluctuating a lot, that causes some issues. If there's a lot of cost or friction, because now you're doing 2 currency exchanges, not 1. I'm calling crypto a currency for this purpose. I know that crypto is not technically a currency, but for this moment, let me just call it, you have 2 currency exchanges, and thus you have 2 bid-ask spreads to pay. Just the market makers, you need to pay the bid-ask spreads twice, and you have some volatility if the middle crypto is moving around. But this simple diagram is a big part of what Ripple is trying to create with XRapid, right? Xcurrent is a messaging app of Ripple's, and it's competing with Swift. And it has some reasonable adoption. A lot of banks are starting to use it. But don't confuse that with another product, which is an interesting product that kind of does this, that goes fiat to crypto, crypto to fiat. So what problem, what pain points would this be solving if it worked in the cross-border? Anybody want to remind the class what Tom?
Well, this reduces the number of intermediaries. You don't have to have your bank engage with a correspondence bank, which engages with a local bank, which then it sort of...
All right, so I'm going to say it might lower the intermediation because you still have on the 2 fiat sides a bank, a local bank and a bank, and to do the crosses, you need some market-making function, which in Ripple's case, they try to build into the application, and they have market makers to provide liquidity. There was a question, somebody mentioned liquidity, some liquidity. But it might lower the numbers of intermediaries. What else might it do?
Okay, and then the clip ends right there. Now, as you guys heard in this clip, Gary Gensler, a former MIT professor, is talking specifically about XRP, Ripple's technology, and how that works. Now, he doesn't say, he says technically, cryptos are not currencies, but in this case, I'm going to call them currencies. Of course, every cryptocurrency, as we've heard in the past, is going to have its own classification based on how it was utilized. This is why there's an SEC lawsuit right now, trying to suggest that Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson did something that they weren't supposed to do with XRP at the time that Ripple Labs was founded. XR Patients down here saying MIT has a culture of innovation. Former MIT professor Gary Gensler is not going to want his country to continue falling rapidly behind the rest of the world in advancing digital technology. No way. And he says, still think Gary Gensler won't make major changes in favor of crypto? Listen to this video starting at about 40 seconds, and I'm going to bring up this video for you guys, originally posted by the Digital Asset Investor. Let me play you this.
We have been leapfrogged by others, by digital currency, by digital Chinese currency. Why? Because frankly, our central bank has been slow, and there's an appointment coming in January of 22. The president's got to decide whether to change over who's leading the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve runs our payment system. Right. And I think we need to move that Federal Reserve into the modern era.
Okay, so needing to move the Federal Reserve into the modern payment system. Of course, DLT blockchain technology, this is going to be part of the modern payment system. And, this guy is knowledgeable. He already knows about Ripple and XRP. Obviously, he has been teaching at MIT and has been, using them as an example in one of his courses. So how is this all going to shape up for Ripple? Are we going to get the clarity we need with the Biden administration and Gary Gensler as the head of the SEC? Now, we also have this. He's no crypto enthusiast, but he has highlighted, and we saw that in that last video clip that I just showed you, the technology as one that exposes some of the underlying payment problems in the US today. So to me, it sounds like he is going to be friendly to DLT platforms that solve a problem utilizing cryptocurrency assets like XRP in order to solve problems, like in this case, as he mentions, problems with liquidity, international transfers, so on and so forth. I think that this is going to be positive, guys. I do not think that Gensler will be negative on XRP when he finally takes office. So I also wanted to bring up this tweet here from XRP Cryptowolf. It is that same video. Mickey B. Fresh tweeted that out on November 12th, 2020, and mentions here the Daily Hodl, your information is outdated and inaccurate. Clearly, Gensler refers to XRP as a currency as professor in late 2018 during his MIT class on crypto and DLT. So I didn't actually see the Daily Hodl article. However, there is some debate on this. People down here like XRP Illionaire saying, depends on which video you watch. I just watched one that was very bearish for XRP. Pablo down here says he actually thinks it's a non-registered security, but the reason he lists as why are open to interpretation and might be debatable in front of a jury. Frey Idler 3 down here says XRP will return stronger than ever. No wonder it may even hit $30 within this year. I wouldn't say bullish AF. I'd say he has a full understanding of the technology and of what Ripple is doing, and I agree with this. I don't see him pursuing the case more than getting some back payments from Ripple for past perceived indiscretions. No way he is classifying XRP as a security. So, there's this issue here of XRP being deemed a security, and, I think that we have all come to the conclusion that this is not really what the SEC wanted to focus on with this lawsuit. What they wanted to do was, basically punish Brad and Chris for treating XRP as a security in the early days. Now, we're hoping we're going to get the clarity. We're hoping we're going to get a clear classification. Once we do finally get that clear classification, it is likely we are going to see a FOMO run for XRP specifically. After we saw XRP fall, after we saw it tumble, it has rebounded a little bit. But, it really should be up to where those other altcoins should be. This was the first leg up after that SEC announcement. We did see XRP tumble, and now it's trading up here just shy of 30 cents. And it should be up higher, quite frankly, probably closer to $1 or $2. Nevertheless, an undervalued coin like this has a lot of room to move. So is Gary Gensler going to give us the clarity that we need? He does already have the working knowledge of Ripple and XRP, so he does not have to be educated on this. We also have seen here that he is a proponent of technology that makes the underlying payment structure better in the United States. So these are all great points, great items that will give Ripple and XRP an advantage. So are we witnessing a new era that will bring more clarity to the crypto space, giving XRP the cryptocurrency status that we need in order for prices to soar? I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.